So this is the instant slide, as you can tell by the title. It relies on the auto sprint feature with it on 0 delay, so that you have the sprinting animation whenever you're going side to side and backwards. I'm assuming that one of the triggers for being able to slide is actually being in the sprint animation. It's not really an animation, it's more like a state, and that setting just forces you to be stuck in that state whenever you're pushing a button. At least that's how I see it working. The second trigger for letting you slide would be, of course, the actual momentum, which is why I think the turning and the strafing and the small movement gain you get from that is enough to push you over that minimum speed threshold, because obviously you can't just slide normally and it all of a sudden lets you if you do the flick thing. But what you do is you press and hold a movement direction, you flick in the direction that you're looking, so if I was doing D I'd flick that way, and then you slide and ideally flick back because you're doing it perpendicular to your target. So in full speed it looks like this, and you don't need to press W or sprint, which is why this is on. I'm not sure if this is possible with sprint. I know it's not possible without auto sprint on, but I'm not sure if just holding sprint and doing the directions itself would work, so you can try that yourself. It's really consistent. The only times I mess it up is if I press my slide bind before I do the flick. So makes you harder to hit, and you still get to have pretty good aim, just keeping on your target. It's probably placebo, but I've felt like my knives are more accurate compared to just regular sliding, because there is that inaccuracy. I think this tech is most commonly going to be used if you're running invis, or if you're mid-fight and you've run out of dashes. I feel like that's the most applicable scenarios for this tech, especially since you get to cover distance, still having good crosshair placement on your enemy, and just making yourself harder to hit. This tech does work on medium. I'm assuming heavy would work about the same, since it seems that the slide trigger velocity is relative and not absolute across every character. But as you can see, you don't get as much value from it, and it'd be better to just have more uptime shooting at the enemy, and I expect it to be even worse with heavy. So this does seem like it'd be a predominantly light class tech. That's it for this video. I hope you guys can get some use out of this tech. I'm not sure if this is going to get patched out soon or not. I guess it depends upon how many people see this tech and how often it gets spread around, but either way, just abuse it as much as you can, because this shit is just